In the year 2097, the world was on the brink of collapse. Climate change had ravaged the Earth, and resources were running low. Scientists had been searching for a new habitable planet for years, and finally, they had found one that showed hope for the human race. A team of scientists and astronauts were assembled, handpicked for their expertise and bravery, to embark on a mission to explore this distant planet in a galaxy far away. They were led by Captain Elizabeth Rodriguez, a brilliant and ambitious astronaut who had devoted her entire career to space exploration. Captain Elizabeth Rodriguez was a trailblazer in the field of space exploration. She had devoted her entire career to the pursuit of knowledge and discovery, and she had always been driven by a sense of curiosity and adventure. She had a natural talent for leadership and had quickly risen through the ranks of NASA, earning the respect and admiration of her colleagues. As a young woman, she had faced many challenges and obstacles, but she had never given up. She had worked tirelessly to earn her degrees in engineering and astronautics, and she had always been willing to put in the extra work to achieve her goals. She was known for her intelligence, her work ethic, and her determination. The team consisted of 6 members, each with their unique set of skills and personalities. John, the pilot, was a thrill seeker at heart. He had always been drawn to the excitement of flying and had worked tirelessly to become a skilled pilot. Sarah, the medic, was a compassionate and empathetic soul. She had always been passionate about helping others and had become a doctor to fulfill that goal. David, the geologist, was a history buff who had always been fascinated by the Earth's history and had studied the planet's geology in depth. Michael, the physicist, was a curious mind who was always searching for answers to the mysteries of the universe. He had devoted his career to studying the laws of physics. Alex and Mia, the engineers, were a dynamic duo who had been friends since childhood. They were tech geeks and had always been fascinated by technology and machines. They had decided to pursue careers in engineering together and had graduated from top universities. They were known for their problem-solving skills and their ability to think outside the box, and they had a knack for coming up with creative solutions to the most complex problems. The mission was to explore the planet, and if possible, establish a colony on it, to ensure the survival of humanity. The team was equipped with the most advanced technology and resources available, but they knew that the journey would be long and treacherous. They were aware of the risks, but they were determined to succeed, for the sake of humanity. As they blasted off into space, they were filled with a sense of excitement and wonder. They were about to embark on the most important journey of their lives, and they knew that they were making history. But as they journeyed deeper into space, they began to encounter strange and inexplicable phenomena that caused the ship to fail. They began to experience a series of strange malfunctions, including power fluctuations and communication disruptions. The ship's instruments would randomly malfunction and they would get strange readings on their screens. They would hear strange noises coming from the ship and they would see strange shadows moving on the walls. As the team struggled to find a way to fix the ship and return home, they were faced with the dire reality that their supplies were rapidly running out. They were running low on food, water, and oxygen, and they knew that their survival was at stake. The situation was dire, and they knew that they had to find a solution before it was too late. The pressure was on, and they were pushed to their limits as they raced against time to repair the ship and make it back home. Despite their best efforts, they were unable to fix the ship and they were stranded in space. They were trapped in a never-ending cycle of horror, and they couldn't find a way to break free. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months. They were stuck in the vast expanse of space, with no hope of rescue. As the months passed, the team started to go insane. They were plagued by hallucinations and delusions, and they were consumed by a sense of despair and hopelessness. They were haunted by visions of a dark and twisted future, where they were the only ones left alive, trapped in a world overrun by chaos and destruction. John, the pilot, became paranoid and delusional, convinced that they were being pursued by an unknown entity. He had locked himself in the cockpit, convinced that something was chasing him and that he was never going to make it back home. Sarah, the medic, became frail and weak from the harsh conditions of space, withdrawn and melancholic, haunted by the memories of the patients she had been unable to save. David, the geologist, became consumed by a dangerous obsession. He fixated on the idea of finding a way to terraform the planet they were orbiting, and make it habitable. He spent every waking moment poring over data and researching ways to manipulate the planet's atmosphere and soil. He became increasingly erratic in his behavior, talking to himself and losing touch with reality. He started to believe that the only way to survive was to leave the ship and make the planet habitable. He began to hatch a plan to exit the ship and try to terraform the planet on his own. Despite the obvious danger and the team's protests, he became convinced that it was their only hope for survival and was willing to risk everything, even his own life, to make it happen. The rest of the crew watched in horror as David's descent into madness deepened, and they knew that they had to stop him before it was too late. He attempted to exit the ship, but his suit was damaged, and he died instantly. Michael, the physicist, became increasingly withdrawn and isolated as the mission progressed. He became consumed with the mysteries of the universe, and spent most of his time locked away in his lab, poring over data and running calculations. He was driven by a burning desire to understand the secrets of the cosmos, and he became increasingly absorbed in his work, to the point of neglecting his duties and his relationships with the rest of the team, as his isolation and obsession with the mysteries of the universe seemed to be taking a toll on his mental state. Alex and Mia, the engineers, became increasingly paranoid and aggressive as the mission progressed. They became convinced that they were being sabotaged and that their ship was being tampered with. They would spend hours poring over data and inspecting the ship's systems, searching for any signs of foul play. They would become increasingly erratic in their behavior, lashing out at their colleagues and accusing them of being involved in the alleged sabotage. They would become more and more agitated and violent, convinced that their lives were in danger. Their colleagues were deeply concerned for their well-being and knew that they needed to intervene before their paranoia and delusions escalated further. As the situation on the ship became more dire, the team members began to lose their grip on reality. They became increasingly hostile and paranoid towards each other, and their mental and emotional states began to deteriorate. Captain Elizabeth found herself losing control over the situation. She tried to keep the team together and maintain order, but her efforts became increasingly futile. As the supplies dwindled and the tension rose, the team members began to turn on each other. John, the pilot, was the first to snap. He became paranoid and delusional, convinced that they were being pursued by an unknown entity. He attacked the rest of the team, and in the chaos, Sarah, the medic, was killed trying to protect the others. The rest of the team, Michael, Alex, and Mia, became increasingly paranoid and aggressive, believing that they were being sabotaged. They turned on each other, and in the chaos, Michael was killed trying to protect himself. Alex and Mia, driven by their paranoid delusions, killed each other in a final violent confrontation. Captain Elizabeth Rodriguez, the leader of the mission, was the only one left alive, the last survivor of the doomed mission. She knew that she was going to die alone in the cold emptiness of space. She closed her eyes and let out a sigh, knowing that her time was up. Her body floated aimlessly in space, a silent testament to the tragedy of the ill-fated mission. Her spirit, haunted by the memory of her crewmates and the guilt of her poor decision, would remain trapped in the cold emptiness of space forever, a grim reminder of the dangers and horrors